Hi Taurus, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot and welcome to your cards for July. Sorry I'm running a little bit late on these readings again this month. Retrograde Mercury's been kicking my ass a little bit, but you know, we're getting there. We're almost done. And in fact, I've only got one sign left after you and I've already started to feel sad, like it was over. You know, one of those things where you feel like pressure to get it done, and then you realize when you're like pushing towards the end, I don't know, maybe this is relevant to you or I'm just talking, but you know, you get to the end of something, you're really trying to push through, and then you start to feel grateful for it. You are excited that you got to do that and experience it. So I don't know, maybe that's something that you're feeling as well. July is an odd kind of month. Odd because there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to want to do. A lot of big decisions you're going to want to make. And there's going to be this overwhelming need to take action. And it's energy. And it's kind of in the form of consumption. The need to consume. The need to produce something. But let me fix this really quick. It's flashing. The odd thing is we're still in retrogrades, right? Like everything is in retrograde. So we're still stuck in the past. We're not really getting traction. We will towards the end of the month. But we're still kind of doing the inner work. It's still a little bit of an inside job right now. Although key players are coming to the table. I will say that there's a lot of relationship energy right now. You know, who's getting on the boat, who's staying behind. This is kind of for all the signs. Meeting new people that maybe were karmically meant to be a part of your life, or cutting things out because the karmic cycle is over. The debt has been served, so to speak. In other words, it's still eclipse season, and that's what we do. So we're still in this phase, and this is especially big for you, Taurus, because the biggest shift in energy now is Mars. Mars is direct, and by the end of the month, all of the personal planets will be direct. Mercury, Venus, and Mars. That is when we start to get traction. That's when the things start to happen. But first, we have to deal with this first part of this Mars transit, which is incredibly important for you because it's a 12th house transit. And Mars in your 12th house can be pretty explosive. So I want to talk about this. You know, even before I pulled your cards, I intended on bringing this up a little bit, but then I pulled your astrology cards, and I got the card of Aries and the card of Neptune. Neptune, commonly known along the lines of the 12th house as well. It's a surrendering. It's a lack of boundaries. It's an undoing. It's our subconscious, our deepest, darkest stuff. It's also our secret enemies, which is often parts of ourselves that we don't realize, where we self-sabotage, we lie to ourselves, we put walls up, we stay in periods of isolation and kind of block ourselves off. It could make opportunities be a little bit distorted. So, you know, you can have high expectations for something and it turns out to be not so beautiful. But there's always beauty within it, right? Neptune, there's always beauty. There's always something to be learned. There's something to be felt in the transit. And that card, along with Aries, which is where Mars is in your 12th house, tells me that we're going to be striking some chords early on. People might feel like they're provoking you. You may feel, even if it doesn't make sense, Neptune. You may feel suspicious. You may feel like people are kind of out to get you. There's an element of not trusting. And if that comes from your intuition, I wouldn't tell you to doubt it. However, Neptune could also be really creative in the way that she brings up fear. Mars, towards the middle of the month, closer to the new moon in Cancer, which is in your 3rd house, Mars meets up with Chiron, and it could bring up some wounds. It could be a tough transit. It will probably be a tough transit collectively. Things may come out that we have to symbolically heal from. It's just a time of being really sensitive, and at the same time the energies around you can feel very insensitive. You know, it's a bulldozing, bullying kind of energy. Mars can be pretty rough in the 12th house, but it's cleaning things up. It's pointing things out to you that you need to let go of. Always let go of 12th house. These old ways of being, these old habits, these thought processes that kept you in a little bit of oppression, kept things hazy and you didn't understand them. Things are hard to grasp in a 12th house transit. And Aries isn't just here for a typical 2-month stay. He's actually here for 6 months. He is going to quickly go through the entire 29 degrees of Aries and then stop in retrograde and come all the way back in September and October to the beginning of Aries and do it all over again. Meaning we get to do all of these transits all over again as it makes squares to the Saturn-Pluto conjunction and what will later be the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. We still have a lot cooking, okay? So in no way, shape, or form is 2020 going to ease up now. And I promise you this summer and this fall is going to feel like a roller coaster. Now we got to clean up the junk. We got to get things a little bit more stable. We got to forgive ourselves for some stuff. We've got to strengthen our inner selves in order to accomplish the things that we're going to have to accomplish, in order to go up against some of the challenges that we may face. Overall energy is the Lovers. This reading is very much a masculine, feminine kind of energy already. And the overall energy is that of a decision, of a choice, of finding balance between the masculine and the feminine. Yes, maybe within connections, within relationships in our lives where we seek the balance, the even give and take, the best qualities helping to kind of lift and improve the other. You seem to be coming out as a Queen of Swords this month, Taurus. Eye on the future. Now, either this is you or someone that you are energetically tied to, probably on a romantic level. But either way, you or another person, this is somebody who is really looking at things in a way to establish a greater plan. This is that where is this going energy. And maybe you're putting pressure on yourself to know where things are going, to sort of put things in their place. You know, it's kind of like that mental organization where you categorize things. You know, if you're having those conversations with other people, like what are we? Are we in a committed relationship? Is this heading towards marriage? Are we going to move in together? What is the ultimate plan? You know, and the same thing being said, if you're in a marriage that's hit some rocky points, it could also be that decision of, are we going to tough this through? Are we going to find a way? Or is this maybe where we part ways and we begin to develop our own future? But either way, the future is very relevant in your current time. There's a lot of focus, intense focus on your ultimate goals and happiness. Even if this isn't with a particular person, it could just be the feeling of trying to understand where you want to go next. What is the 10 of Cups to you, Taurus? Is it family? Is it marriage? Is it a new job? Is it moving to another state? Is it starting to write that book? Starting that business? What does the next level of happiness look for you? What does it look like? Hanged Man. Now, one thing I did notice is the last 2 cards in each row of the 9 blocks. This is sort of your energy, like you're struggling to make a decision. You're pushing yourself to make a plan, and yet you're having a very hard time coming to a decision. This is that Neptune energy. This is waiting for the signs, waiting for the inspiration, waiting for someone maybe to make the decision for you. And the Lover's card laid out right next to the Hanged Man is maybe either you or someone else pressuring you to decide, is this the right relationship for you? Is this a person you could see spending the rest of your life with? I like the Queen of Swords because she has a way of looking through the bullshit. She knows what's important and what isn't. She can cut obstacles out of her way easily and see her way through to, future endeavors. But when it comes to matters of the heart, when it comes to really loving relationships, I'm not sure the Queen of Swords is the best energy. The thing is, the Queen of Swords can communicate, and maybe that's something that needs to be done right now. Maybe there needs to be some communication. Maybe it's not a matter of needing to make a decision or waiting for someone else to make a decision. Maybe there's a need to just talk about it, to communicate about it. Just don't be so afraid to have those conversations. There's nothing wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to know where you're going, I think sometimes we get a bad rap for, and this is mainly a kind of a feminine energy kind of thing. Do you just want some sort of a guarantee that this isn't a waste of time, that this person sees and feels similar to the way that you feel about them, There's a need, a very human, basic need for safety in our relationships. And sometimes we have a way of avoiding those conversations, sometimes because we're trying to avoid the truth. Sometimes because what lies beneath the surface of this idea of your ultimate happiness, is a very deep subconscious fear. Maybe it's a fear that if you let yourself love somebody, then you open up to the fear of rejection. What if they don't feel the same? What if you love them and you start a life together and then they up and leave? Right? Maybe your block that you seem to be making headway with in the month of July is that you know, as your heart opens to love, it also becomes really vulnerable. The Hanged Man and the Sun. See, the thing is, Taurus, I think that you know intuitively I think you know that in order to get to this place, this ultimate happiness, this dreams coming true, wish fulfillment, the Sun is the best card you can get in the deck. It's the highest level of happiness. It is all about being vulnerable. It is all about being yourself. And that's pretty scary. 5 of Pentacles. I think you know that in order to get here to the Sun, you may have to spend a few moments in the shadow in July, in the darker side, in the unknown. Swords are always illusions to me. Yes, there's thought, there's analyzing, there's practicality, there's wisdom, yes, all of that. But when I see it like this, I see a lot of pressure on yourself to make decisions with your thoughts. And when you make decisions with your thoughts, with your mind space, you know, without really aligning it with, you know, aligning all your chakras, your crown chakra, your enlightenment, your heart chakra, your solar plexus, your root chakras, your sacral chakras, if they're not all involved in this and it's all in your mind, well, your mind can be kind of tricky. Right? And especially in a 12th house transit. Your mind can play some tricks on you. And sometimes it does it to get you to understand how you feel. So when I see Mars transits in the 12th house, the first thing I see is you could feel like there's competition. There could be feelings of jealousy. Be careful where you go with that this month. Be careful not to overestimate or overanalyze, and don't jump to conclusions. Because your fear, when this Mars Chiron thing comes to a head, your fears are going to be exasperated and you're going to do very primal things that you do in order to survive, fight or flight kind of instincts. If you're feeling insecure in a relationship, your instinct, your rash behavior might be to lash out. It might be to walk away. It might be to say or do something hurtful, because you feel the need to protect yourself. But Mercury is still pretty tricky this month. So those thoughts, those fears may not be doing you any favors. So Queen of Swords, communicate, yes. Queen of Swords, be logical, yes. Make plans for the future, yes. Two of Wands, you're going to have to use your intuition here. There's elements of the unknown. You may feel, again, like you have to step into unknown elements. Maybe if you are wanting more from your partner, the more and more you think about it logically, the more stories you tell yourself in your head. Stories like, oh, they probably don't feel the same, or oh, they probably don't want a future with me. And the more that you replay the story in your head, the more likely it becomes. That's the law of the universe. You keep putting something out there, and that's exactly what you get in return. So I'm not telling you to not do the Queen of Swords thing, but I'm telling you to not just do the Queen of Swords thing. See, Four of Wands, Ten of Cups, the Lovers, the Sun, the Magician, and Justice. Nowhere in this reading do I pick up a sense that this is not a healthy situation for you. The only unhealthy situation I see here is the Five of Pentacles. Is this one thing that you have to overcome intelligently, and it's just a fear. There's no reality here at all. There is no reality to this Five of Pentacles. If you are coming at things with a lack mentality, believing that you'll never have those things, that you don't deserve those things, nothing's good enough, well, the universe is going to teach you a swift lesson, right? If you are assuming that this person doesn't care about you, if you're jumping to conclusions and worst case scenarios in your head, the universe may take a moment to make that clear to you. If there's a moment that this person walks away from you, if there's a moment of rejection in some way, don't react. Don't seal the deal. Things are confusing right now. Things are super emotional. They're super heated. And sometimes the universe can be super creative in getting you to see and feel the things you need to feel. So if you're experiencing a loss, it may be a loss that makes it real clear to you how you feel about that person to begin with. And this is a promise that in the end, it's all how it's meant to be. It's a real waste of time, this Two of Swords and this Hanged Man. Not feeling strong enough, not feeling prepared enough, not feeling ready enough, not feeling confident enough. These are a waste of time. They're a waste of energy. Because what you're moving towards, if you really go within, both of these cards represent the same thing. They both mean a decision. But this card, she looks so frightened. She looks somewhat forced. And in this card, there's two. There's two people. There's so much more confidence. There's so much more security in that card. So to that, I say, have a little more faith. Have a little more faith in what the universe has given you. A little more faith in yourself. If you love this person, if this person is truly your 10 of Cups, then surely you could find a way to have a little bit more faith in them. Whatever happens, it will be to restore justice within the relationship. And it will serve as a reminder of how powerful your thoughts are. And how you have the ability to create your own life. You are the creator. So you get to choose. You get to choose. These are choices. You get to choose stagnation or dreams coming true of ultimate abundance and fulfillment. You get to choose between the sun and the darkness. Everything has to be balanced. If you've been through really hard relationships in the past, then know that the universe wants to give you something different. That this experience can be different. Bottom of the deck. Ace of Cups. It's unconditional love. It's opening of your heart chakra. Ace of Cups. It's an offering of love. So don't spend a lot of time in this Neptune. I don't know if I can trust it. What if I get disappointed? You don't want to stay there. Your oracle card for July. I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. Guys, if it's meant for you, you really can't screw it up. If you do something stupid out of fear, if you start to feel insecure and you have to reestablish some boundaries within a relationship, I feel like you're doing it with a person that's going to understand. I feel like this person is going to treat you with love and compassion and forgiveness. Your animal spirit card, the hyena and the crocodile. Yeah. So this hyena card, I'm seeing kind of as that Mars component. And this could be a somewhat passive-aggressive kind of energy. You know, this could be where you make jokes, use sarcasm and wit, when really deep down there is a undertone of disappointment and resentment. And maybe this is you doing this, or maybe this is your partner. But this kind of energy, this passive aggressiveness, this impatience or haste, this can create enough of a provocation to kind of move you out of your comfort zone. And I think the hyena is kind of playing with the crocodile, testing the waters, testing the patience, pushing the limits, knowing that that crocodile could absolutely, without a doubt, consume them. The crocodile also represents a part of us that knows when to back down and cool off. So again, with that whole Mars 12th house transit, if there are moments where you're feeling really heated, you know, take a step back. Don't react out of anger or haste or jealousy or impatience. And you certainly don't want to make decisions when you're in that mindset. The crocodile knows better. The crocodile isn't going to be annoyed by the hyena. I see a maturing on both parties and how you begin to communicate and work through this situation. But I think you're going to step out of the haze by the end of July and into August and get a better idea of where this whole situation's going. All right, Taurus. If you don't mind, hit like, share, subscribe the videos. The channel's getting some really nice growth right now, and I just kind of want to keep working on it and get the messages out to more people, and I really appreciate it if you take a moment to do that. I'll be checking in with you soon, and I'm looking forward to find out how this goes in August. Have a great month, guys.